Do you handle criticism well? Do you get defensive when somebody points out an area of opportunity? I'm going to do a quick little reading today of my Napoleon Hill Foundation thought of the day. It says, most of us don't mind being told of our faults if the critic is generous enough to mix it with a few of our virtues as well, otherwise known as a compliment sandwich. It's when you see somebody's area of opportunity, not through judgment, not through criticism, but just observation. Wow, I see this person is doing blank, and if only they were to do blank, then things might work out for them, or they might solve this problem. And so to approach somebody, especially if it's a friend or family member, clearly those are really the only people I think, or a coworker, because probably you don't have enough rapport and respect built up and trust with a stranger to point out an area of opportunity, but it happens. But when you want to give somebody an honest critique about their performance or a behavior or a pattern that you're seeing in their life, it's important to do it in a way that highlights some of their strengths. So we call it a compliment sandwich. You say, hey, look, you do this well, but I see you do this. This is the meat and potatoes of it. This is kind of the issue or the problem. And moving forward, I can see the potential, blah, blah, blah. So start with a positive and a strength, talk about the weakness, and then lead with an optimistic belief or faith in them, a compliment sandwich. It says, it's normal to react. It's a normal reaction to defend ourselves and our behavior when someone criticizes us, even if we secretly recognize that what we're being told is correct. Those who achieve great success in life, however, are those who have learned to set aside their emotions and learn from others, even when the message is unpleasant. If you find yourself being evaluated by someone else, tell yourself that criticism of some aspect of your performance is not a personal attack. So let me finish this. Control your emotional reaction and adopt useful ideas, even though you may dislike the manner in which the information is delivered. Do you get defensive when somebody critiques your work? Do you get defensive when someone critiques something you've done or how you're acting? Can you hear the honest critique? Of course, it takes a skilled person to give an honest critique without being rude or mean, but clearly the emotion that the person has is out of concern or worry or, wanting to not see you in pain or fail. With all of that said, when we talk about parts work, meaning that therapeutic modality, IFS, internal family systems, of what part is being activated. When we say, I'm triggered, I'm activated, they brought out the worst in me. They brought out that side in me. That you're talking about a part. There's a part of you that gets defensive, a defensive part, when you're criticized or when someone questions you. But to be able to detach from the emotion and just hear what they say, if you respect them, of course, and say, hey, is there any truth in this? Is there an area of opportunity? Because sometimes we're just defensive and we're like, our shields, our walls go up and we don't even hear. When what that person might have said could have saved us years of heartache and pain. Are you defensive? Or can you objectively hear, without emotion, or a lot of it, the critique, the advice, the suggestions from friends and family, people that you respect and you have rapport with, that you trust, that who really know you and have your best interest at heart? Or are you defensive? Are you closed off to another way? And again, this can get tricky because you have to really, that's why it's important to surround yourself with people who really believe in you, who trust you, who you trust, and who trust you. And believe in your future, your vision, your dream for what you're working towards. Or is it just them projecting their limiting beliefs and doubts on you? It's really important to mix and mingle and surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who have a positive can-do attitude, who are solution-focused, because both are true. We can surround ourselves with people who are problem-focused, pointing out the problem, pointing out the deficiencies, pointing out what's wrong, which is important, but do they stay there? Once we point out a problem, that's as much time we got to give it. Then the rest of the time is on solutions. A lot of times we get caught up in focusing on the problem, reiterating. How do we say the problem with a new spin? How do we dress up this pig this time, right? It's like, it's getting exhausting, and we can feel it energetically, spiritually, emotionally. It's exhausting to scroll through social media and see the problem. It's not news. It's not news that we're in deep doo-doo in a lot of areas in life. But you know what would be news? You know what would be breaking news? A new solution. A new way of looking at it. Light, hope, a path that hasn't been found before. That's what I'm totally invested in. And I get dragged down too. And you're saying, well, Carla, don't be in denial. I'm not. I just don't want to torture myself. I understand the precious, precious mind that I have and how susceptible it is to the news that I surround myself with. How do I feel? Well, I started feeling dark and dense and heavy and depressed. That's just the state of the world. That's actually my body telling me, yeah, this is pretty bad. Yeah, rightly so. Anybody who looks at what's going on right now should feel depressed and anxious. That's just a normal reaction. But are we going to stay there? Are we going to accept that state and dwell and set up our tent there? I can't afford to do that. I don't want to know where I'd go. And that's just for me, for my mental health. I can't afford that. Maybe some people have bigger windows of tolerance. They can tolerate more bad news. They can tolerate more. Maybe I'm just weak. I can't tolerate a lot of that stuff. I don't want to dwell there. What am I filling my mind with? What am I filling my feed with? How is it making me feel? On some days, yeah, I can really dive in and sit and think about a situation that I haven't looked at before and say, wow, oh, is there a solution to this? Or can I pray for someone? Truly, can I send them positive healing thoughts? Because there is power in that, because that's what we're doing all day, by the way. We are sending people thought power, and they can feel it. What kind of thought power are you sending out? What kind of thought power are you letting in? How do you feel? How do you feel? Depression and anxiety are a big, big effect right now. It's a symptom. It's not the problem. Depression and anxiety are not a problem, and they're not a disease. There's nothing wrong with anybody for feeling it. It's just a reaction, a normal human reaction to the conditions and the situations and the environment, the culture that we're in. So we must do what we must do to protect ourselves. And we don't have to explain it to anybody else. If somebody cannot be on social media, good. Don't let anybody say, well, you're just ignoring. If someone can't watch the news, good. Well, you're just in denial. Know yourself. Trust your gut. Trust what you know you let into your being is safe. And it's not toxic, because there's high toxic levels of stuff that are being pumped out right now from every facet of every media outlet. But we don't have to listen or watch it. So protect yourself. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.